Christians in Iraq are still facing dire circumstances. In Mosul, the bodies of 40 Christians have been discovered in a mass grave. Many of the women and children were buried with small crosses. According to Iraqi news, ISIS is responsible. A little over a decade ago, there were more than 1 million Christians in Iraq. Now that number is about 200,000. Let's talk about why. Joining us now is Xena Kuryakin, president of the Iraqi Christian Human Rights Council. She's a Chaldean-American attorney advocating for Christians in the region. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I hope I said that name right.
Yes,
Kiryakos.
perfectly.
Good. Perfect. Open Doors, another organization helping Christians there, says that there are still 60 people missing from the Nineveh Plains from when ISIS came in. Now we're finding this mass grave, and we understand that ISIS is responsible for that. I thought ISIS was pretty much out of Iraq. What's happening?
Well, there are still elements of ISIS in Iraq, and the Iraqi forces, along with the coalition troops to defeat ISIS, are trying to find the elements and eliminate them. But there are still elements there.
Are those incidents related, do you think?
Between the missing Christians and the graves? Yes. When ISIS came in 2014 and took over Mosul and then also the Nineveh Plains, where a majority of the Chaldean and Syriac Christian towns are in Iraq, they kidnapped over 100 Christians during that process. And so we believe that the mass grave of 40 Christians that were just found are part of that over 100 Christians that were kidnapped.
In September, the UN established a group to basically, sentence ISIS and to bring them to trial for their crimes first. How much of a role do you think that Iraqi Christians are going to be able to play in this process of taking these leaders who have committed mass murder to trial?
Well, it's going to be an uphill battle, I believe, with the UN for Iraqi Christians to be involved in the process, but we are definitely going to continue to fight for our rights to be in the process. So far, the UN has not been very open to the issue of Christian genocide in Iraq. They have focused some attention on the Yazidi genocide, which is a very noble thing for them to do, but so far they have not responded to our request to be part of the process.
The UN, however, is no stranger to war crimes, and in Bosnia, for example, they brought Bosnian Serbs to trial and convicted many of them. So, in their genocide of the Bosnian Muslims. So, there hasn't been much support for Iraqi Christians. Do you know why the UN isn't getting back to you?
My best guess is political correctness. There is a apprehension to focus on the issue of Christian persecution in the Middle East by the Muslim majority, and this persecution has been going on for Iraqi Christians for the last 15 years. We have been going through a genocide. We've had bishops kidnapped and murdered, priests, nuns. Over 100 Christians, as I mentioned earlier, when ISIS came in, were kidnapped. So this has been ongoing, and we've had really silence from many international organizations, including the UN, about the Iraqi Christian genocide.
And what do you hope to accomplish by coming and speaking out about the lack of UN response?
Well, we want to put the UN on notice that Iraqi Christians have gone through a genocide for the last 15 years, including the ISIS genocide against Christians and Yazidis in Iraq, and we demand to be part of the process.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Xena Kuryakin, president of the Iraqi Christian Human Rights Council.
Thank you.